This is just a little bit of a tidbit of information in regards to the flood. Just carrying on with my devotion in the book of Genesis. And we see here in Genesis chapter 7 that the waters prevail. The waters prevailed, verse 18. The waters prevailed and were increased greatly upon the earth. And the ark went up upon the face of the waters, and the waters prevailed exceedingly upon the earth, and all the high hills that were under the whole heaven were covered. 15 cubits upward did the waters prevail, and the mountains were covered. So verse 20, this is basically saying that the mountains were covered 15 cubits. So how would one know how high the waters were unless you can see outside? And there was a window that Noah that Noah had created so that he can take some sneak peeks every once in a while. So because the ark was 30 cubits high, you can get a perspective. If there's huge waves, you can see the mountains, and then the mountains would disappear. Then you can kind of take a guess. Okay, those waves are about half the size of the ark. And then you can see when the mountains get covered and all this kind of stuff. So obviously the conditions are crazy because there's waves and all kinds of stuff. But the point is that this is how Noah was able to get a perspective of what's going on around him. And it's interesting to note that they just didn't sit inside the ark and just hope and wait. But Noah was actually very curious as to his surroundings pretty much at all times. So then it says that all flesh died that moved upon the earth, fowl, cattle, beast, every creeping thing. And if you go over here, we see God remembered Noah and every living thing and all the cattle that was with him in the ark. God made a wind pass over the earth. I mentioned that last night. So after 150 days, 5 months, the waters abated. So this is just a snapshot. This is how long it took for the waters to go down to a point where they can actually rest on Mount Ararat. So this is month 7. Month 2 is when it started. So 5 months later, 150 days later, was able to rest on Mount Ararat. And then another 3 months, the waters continued to decrease. And in the 10th month, on the first day of the month, were the tops of the mountain seen. So now Noah was able to see the top of the mountain after the 10th month. So another 90 days after 150 days, and he was able to see the tops of the mountain. So then we also see here, this is interesting. So we're backing up again. And it came to pass at the end of 40 days, when it stopped raining, that Noah opened the window of the ark, which he had made. So this is where he's able to take some sneak peeks, because it had to stop raining first. And he sent forth a raven, which went forth to and fro until the waters were dried up from off the earth. So about 150 days plus another 90 days. So this is how long Noah was doing this for. So the ravens got their exercise and probably had a few ravens, and they would always come back because there was no place for them to land. And if you know anything about ravens, which I only know because I looked it up, but ravens can talk almost like a parrot if you train them properly. I don't know if you train it to say, did you see any water? I'm not thinking anything like that. That would be crazy. But for sure, ravens have a radius of about 50 plus miles. So that would give you a good inkling of what's going on around you and your surroundings. And then obviously if the raven doesn't come back, he's found land and food or whatever. He also sent forth a dove from him to see if the waters were abated from off the face of the ground. So this is what Noah was doing. He was doing test runs. He sent a raven out first, which had a huge radius. And then he sent a female dove because the female dove had nesting capabilities, so that the female dove would be looking for branches to build a nest instinctively. So he sent forth a dove from him to see if the waters were abated from off the face of the ground. But the dove found no rest for the sole of her foot, and she returned unto him into the ark, for the waters were on the face of the whole earth. Then he put forth his hand and took her, because this is before the fear of dread of man. Animals were able to come to Noah, and this was a problem before the flood, because animals trusted human beings, and they would be killed and they would be eaten alive with their blood in them, their flesh. This is why it was forbidden to eat animals with their blood in them, because basically back in the day they would see an animal walk by and they would start eating it while it was alive. Very inhumane. So then he put forth his hand, took her, pulled her into him into the ark. He stayed another 7 days again. He went forth out of the dove, sent forth the dove out of the ark, and the dove came into him. Evening, lo, in her mouth was an olive leaf plucked off. So her instincts were kicking in. She was nesting. So Noah knew that the waters were abated, and he sent the dove out again. Stayed another 7 days, and then the dove didn't come back anymore. And it was the 601st year in the first month. So basically a year Noah was in the ark, and then he removed the covering. So they left the ark, which is interesting. And then right away, God blesses Noah. It says, be fruitful, replenish the earth. The fear and dread of you shall be upon every beast. So now the animals have changed. They now fear men, so they can spread out throughout the world. And then he says, I give you all food. You can eat everything, not just I shall give every moving thing that liveth shall be meat for you, even as the green herb I've given you all things. So just like fruit and vegetables, you can now eat meat from the animals. But the flesh with the life thereof, like a live animal, which the blood is in it, you shall not eat. So don't eat any animals that are alive. And surely your blood of your lives will I require. At the hand of every beast will I require it. So if a beast kills a person or eats a man alive, you're to kill that beast. And at the hand of man. So if anyone eats people, cannibalism, their blood will be required. At the hand of every man's brother will I require the life of man. So basically, men will kill men if that person eats a person. That's cannibalism. If they kill someone, if they murder someone, someone's brother is going to avenge that, which brings you back to Cain, where Cain knew that what he had done, there could be an argument that that was the first instance of cannibalism, Cain-Abel-ism. You could pose an argument that maybe that is what happened. Either Cain bit Abel, ripped him apart, buried the remains, who knows what. Just kind of interesting that he was worried about somebody avenging him, maybe because these guys still had knowledge from the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, and they knew a little bit of what future events were awaiting them when you kill someone. So I can go deep into that in another video, but that's enough for this one. So it's just interesting that whoso sheddeth a man's blood, by man shall his blood be shed. For in the image of God made he man, and you be fruitful and multiply and bring forth abundantly in the earth and multiply therein. So almost very similar to the beginning of Genesis, where it feels like man was to replenish the earth from perhaps a previous flood. We don't know, but this could have been something that could have been happening before, like maybe once or twice. We don't know. That man was destroyed a few times before. King Solomon said there's nothing new under the sun. So if you had a computer today and you buried it for 100 years and someone dug it up and then found two computers, they would think it was from the same time frame, when in fact maybe, just maybe, there could have been a computer from 2,000, 3,000, 4,000, 6,000 years ago, like before the flood. We don't know. We can only go off of King Solomon being one of the wisest men in the world, saying that there is nothing new under the sun. Anyways, there's just a thought for the day. Don't quote me on any of this stuff. This is just stuff that I think about and I wonder about. Hope you have a good day, and I'll see you in another video. Bye for now.